I'd be open to any questions you might have.
Bishop, it's been 600 years since we've had a pope resign.
That's true.
What are your thoughts on a resignation? I know it's for health reasons, but we normally see a pope die as a pope.
Yeah, well, that's been our experience, but 600 years against 2,000-year history of the Church. There have been approximately a dozen popes who have resigned in the entire history of the Church. But it was Gregory XII, I believe, who resigned then. I don't know. I mean, this is something new. Pope John Paul did have a letter of resignation ready to go at some point. Now, why that never happened, especially as his health really deteriorated rather seriously, I don't know. But I don't know where else to go with this. It's new for all of us.
You spoke about the physical condition of Pope Benedict last time you met with him.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more. You said he seemed tired.
Yeah, he just seemed tired. Well, he was going from one group to another. As we were going through, there were approximately 4 different reception rooms, groups of people who would meet. Now, he was meeting with the bishops of the Miami province, and he was meeting with the bishops of the Atlanta province separately. But then he also had other groups from all parts of the world, lay groups, sports groups. So it was obvious that he was kind of tired in terms of this. And I could understand that with all of these public appearances and these demands for his presence in so many areas. So he did appear tired. But as I mentioned, when we started talking about the use of modern technology, he just lit up and really became very excited about that and entered the conversation quite animatedly, yes.
Bishop, thank you for
Yes.
your time. You've spent time with him. Anything you could give, any anecdote that he shared that stood out in your mind, some insight into the kind of man that he was that maybe people wouldn't know?
Well, I mean, there was a humorous moment in our ad limina visit, and Bishop Thompson, who is the retired bishop of Charleston, accompanied us on that visit, and he will be 90 in May, and he's in very good shape. God bless him. But when the Holy Father spoke with him, and they were in conversation, the Holy Father said, "Oh, you're retired. You have time to write, you have time to read, you have time to pray." And of course, Bishop Thompson said, "And time to golf." So that was fine. And then when I introduced Monsignor Harris, our Vicar General, to him, the Holy Father says, "Oh, you're the one who does all the work in the diocese." And I'm standing there wondering, what is this all about?
Bishop, what were your personal feelings this morning when you heard the news?
Well, I was, in a sense, the feelings were mixed. Obviously, to see him leave this post as our Holy Father with a lot of work unfinished, I think, in terms of his own approach to ministry. So there was a bit of sadness, but then having seen him in May and then seeing all of the various things that he's been asked to do, I could really understand that the man just wanted to retire, and also not simply for his own sake, but I think to point out that the Church needs somebody who is going to be able to respond to the needs of the Church with the kind of energy and vigor that would be necessary, and he just felt he could not do that. So in justice, I think he felt he had to resign.
What do you think this resignation means for the future of the Church?
Well, I think it opens up a whole new way of looking at the papacy. As you said before, we've gone 600 years without a resignation. But I think this is going to change in the future. Years ago, I mean, without the use of all kinds of technology, it was possible for a pope to just sort of take it easy and reduce public appearances. I mean, prior to Paul VI, popes didn't travel all over the world, and certainly it was John Paul who traveled everywhere. So just the demands of the present age and the constant speed in which so much happens because of technology, I think that the role has changed. And I think we might see that in the future, Benedict's approach to resignation might not be quite as unique as it has been in the past.
Bishop, in layman's terms, can you describe for our viewers what happens next in the College of Cardinals
Right.
conclave in a way that they can understand?
Well, the Vatican has issued a statement indicating that as of February 28th at 8 o'clock p.m., the seat of St. Peter, the chair of St. Peter, will be vacant, and that the Holy Father Benedict will go to Castel Gandolfo, the summer residence, at that point. At which time the College of Cardinals will then start to make plans to gather all of the cardinals who would be eligible to vote to come to Rome and enter into a conclave. That may take maybe 4 weeks, depending on that. But certainly, I would believe sometime in March we will see a gathering of 117 cardinals to elect the new pope.
You talked about Pope Benedict's dedication to social media and to technology. How important has that been in evangelizing and reaching the masses?
Oh, I think it's becoming more and more a prominent way to evangelize. I remember a couple of years ago being in Athens, and someone pointed out that this was the rock that St. Paul would preach upon, and I couldn't help but think, St. Paul wouldn't be preaching on any rock today. He'd be talking to you folks. He'd be on YouTube, Facebook, and every other way, because this is where we're at. And I think that, especially when we're dealing with younger people, it's critical to use the new technologies to the best of our abilities.
What's his lasting legacy? Would that be it, or is there something?
Oh, no, well, I think that's part of it, but this is only recent, if you notice, with him. He only started the Twitter, a few months ago. He's had an interest in this. But I think one of his legacies will certainly be as a theologian and a writer. I was always impressed with Pope John Paul II, but John Paul II was a philosopher. And I must say that in reading the many, many documents that John Paul produced, they were work. Real work to go through them. Whereas Benedict is a theologian, and he presents, I think, the gospel in a way that's much more palatable, much easier to read, very clear. I think he's an excellent writer, an excellent theologian, and I think that's going to be part of his legacy. It's interesting, I have in my own personal library, I have shelves, something like this, but I've got a John Paul II shelf, and not too much in it. I mean, there were a lot of documents, but not in terms of books or various things. Then underneath it is the Benedict the 16th shelf, and I've run out of room with all of the books that he's written, and popular things. People have found that he's able to explain the faith in good, strong ways. So I think that's going to be primarily his legacy. And his outreach in terms of ecumenism and reaching out to other faiths. And I think, lastly, his own attempts to bring unity within the Catholic Church.
Well, no, all the so-called experts have made their picks of anything from this short list to the next pope. Your thoughts on anyone that you think stands out?
I wouldn't want to speculate on that, because usually they say that any cardinal who goes into a conclave expecting to be pope comes out a cardinal. Jokingly, I asked at lunch today, I says, do you know of any cardinals who bought one-way tickets yet? But I don't think anyone would do that. Who knows? Neither John Paul nor Benedict were expected originally to be elected. So who knows? Who knows where this is all going to go? And we do believe that the Holy Spirit is certainly active in the election of a new pope.
Locally, is there an impact on what you'll do or say or think going forward, and how the diocese will proceed in the wake of this?
I don't think it's going to make much of a change in terms of how we will proceed as a diocese. Certainly, we will be praying for the action of the cardinals, and certainly praying for Benedict in gratitude for what he has done for the Church. But I don't see that there would be very many changes, if any. Certainly, we will celebrate the election of a new pope when that happens.
Bishop, you said at the end of the month, it'll take a couple of weeks. We're getting close to Easter. What does that mean for the Catholic Church going into the Easter season?
I would hope we have a pope by Easter time. It depends. Some conclaves can go on for a long time. And, for the cardinals to come to a decision, it could be a very short conclave, and it could be a long one. I would say that with almost a month before his actual resignation, a lot of the preparatory work for a conclave will have been done. So maybe early part of March we might even see a conclave. I hope that there would be a new pope by Easter time.
And Bishop, do you think, because Pope Benedict kind of paved the way for social media, do you think the next Pope is going to have big shoes to fill and is going to have to be more tech savvy?
Oh, I think so. I think everybody these days, I mean, everybody who's involved in any kind of a public work at all in the times in which we live has to become more savvy in terms of technology. It's, you know, and you know, we can call ourselves dinosaurs if we want to, but, you know, dinosaurs are extinct. So we have to move on. We have to move on.
Do you have any plans to travel to Vatican City anytime soon?
No, I do not plan to go to Vatican City either during or after the conclave. Okay.
Bishop.
All right. Well, thank you so very much.